personally invite you to a talk that my friends from Confluent and I are going to be doing together on Wednesday, March 4th at 1 p.m. Eastern. Now, I know you've got a million other things in your life you might choose to spend your time on, like getting your wisdom teeth pulled out or something, so I figured I might as well give you a little bit of background on what it is we're going to be talking about. Before I begin, I'd like to thank my friend Shane McNamee from Perspective, who's also a train lover, for the concept of the imagery you're about to see. This is certainly not the image you'd expect for a modern data pipeline architecture. Well, you're absolutely right. This isn't a modern data pipeline architecture. This is one data consumer waiting on one data producer. If that is what is typical in your environment and that keyword waiting, this might be you. That's maybe not the station you want to be at, right? Eventually, we moved our platforms to something called an API, an application programming interface. We wanted to drive multiple consumers from a single producer because that would make our lives better, right? Well, there became a mountain of code debt because each source had its own rules. So, yes, we were getting multiple places from one, but before long, we just started realizing we weren't sure which way we were going, and that kind of started falling apart. Being a data engineer in the world today has gotten even more complicated, though, my friends. There simply isn't enough time, nor are there enough manpower resources to be looking at one to one coding solutions. You need something that is fast, scalable, durable, and fault tolerant. You need Apache Kafka. You need Confluent to provide operational support, schema registry, additional connectors, and things like stream processing. Because a modern data pipeline architecture looks more like this: data streaming from everywhere to everywhere, and there is no time to wait. When you think of Kafka and real time data streams, these are probably the things that came to mind. These might be the use cases you had that made you start thinking about Kafka to begin with. Well, my friends, there's a new data train coming down the tracks. A great, big, beautiful data train, loaded and loaded with lots of power. I mean, loaded and loaded with lots of data. Have any guesses? That's right, it's databases, relational databases. I know that seems odd to many of you, but when you think about it, changes to databases are in fact streams of information. They aren't batched. It's only logical that we would use change data capture to work on those RDBMS changes, just like all those other beautiful things that you do think about as streams. The webinar that I'm doing with my friends from Confluent is absolutely geared at those who are categorized by the word wait. You're using batch methods and you're struggling to meet the demands of the modern data pipeline that you're trying to architect. It is absolutely intended for those who have a software vendor or a DBA that forbid you from querying your OLTP system in real time. They're forcing you to use stale data or forcing you to some batch method that makes you utilize data that is not fresh. As they rightly should, by the way, because an OLTP system is intended to perform at getting transactions in. It is not intended to be used for near real-time analytics that you're trying to do. I sure hope, rather than getting your wisdom teeth taken out Wednesday, March 4th at 1 p.m., you'll choose to spend an hour with my friends from Confluent and I, because I think this is going to be a phenomenal event.